All of us love video games. None of us require any kind of discipline or willpower to start playing video games. Whenever we open a game, we can effortlessly spend hours upon hours with undivided focus and attention on the game. Also, video games are fun. We don't require any other kind of reward for playing video games. Video games themselves are the reward. They are by themselves fun, enjoyable, and exciting. So recently, I was wishing that I could have the same kind of relationship and motivation with my work and studies that I used to have with video games. While I was praying for that, I stumbled across this piece of paper. This was paper that I used to make my JEE preparation more fun and exciting. And the principles that I used to develop this strategy came from this book, Deep Work by Cal Newport. In this book, the author goes over four principles named the four disciplines of execution. And looking back, when I implemented these principles to my work, it became way more fun and exciting. It became kind of like a video game. So let's go over these four disciplines of execution in this video and try to develop a strategy to make our current work more fun and enjoyable. Yeah, discipline is more important and more powerful, and you won't get much done if you only work when you felt like it and if you had fun. But motivation and having fun is an absolutely great thing to have. I work for more hours than planned if I am motivated and if I am having fun. Also, in the hours that I'm working for, I work with more intense focus, and most importantly of all, I just enjoy my work a lot more. I spend most of my day working, so if I come to enjoy my work a lot more, then that means I come to enjoy my very life a lot more. So it's definitely a worthy pursuit to try to make our work more motivating, exciting, and fun. So let's just dive straight into it. Also, be sure to stick to the end because you don't know which principle would help you the most. For me, it was the third one. For you, it might be the first, or the fourth, or the second. Let's see. The first discipline of execution is to focus on the wildly important goals. Whenever we set out on a quest, the thing that usually stops us from achieving it is not that we lack the skill or knowledge to do it, but usually we just get distracted. For example, while we are preparing for academics, things like hanging out with our friends or getting into a call with them, these are all fighting for attention and time. And it's hard to say no to all the things that can distract you: video games, social media, friends, even things like gym. It's hard to say no to all of those. A better strategy is to have a strong yes to a goal that means a lot to you. For example, instead of simply saying preparing for academics, you can reframe that into trying to get into IIT, trying to ensure a comfortable future for your family and yourself. If you have a strong yes to a goal that means a lot to you, that automatically focuses your attention and cuts out other distractions automatically, and at least make sure that they don't take over your main goal. And that's the first discipline of execution. Focus on the wildly important goals. How does that add excitement to our life? Well, goals like doing 100 PYQs a day or working 9 to 10 hours, they don't fill you with life or energy, right? But a goal like getting into IIT, getting into a reputed NIT, and ensuring a comfortable future for you and your family, making all who supported you proud, and making your haters take back their word. These goals are more exciting. They infuse life into you and energy. But if you observe, the steps taken to achieve these goals are exactly the same as doing PYQs and working for this many hours. But what we are doing is we are just reframing the daily tasks into the steps towards the ultimate goal instead of the goal itself. Focusing on the wildly important goals reminds us that we are not simply laying bricks, we are building a cathedral. And that infuses our daily tasks with a sense of meaning and purpose, and that motivates us and energizes us. The second discipline of execution is to act on lead measures. I'll admit this doesn't really add any excitement to your life, but this is a necessary step for the third discipline, and that's what added the most motivation and excitement to my life. So we have to go through this. Well, now that we have a wildly important goal, we need a way to measure our progress towards it. And there are basically two types of metrics we can use. One is a lag measure and one is a lead measure. A lag measure gives us an idea about how we are doing long after the action that led to the result has passed. For example, if you're a student, then your lag measure would be the marks you get in an exam. By the time that the marks come, the actions that led to it are weeks or months old. So it can't really give us immediate feedback and help us course correct whenever we are falling short. So it's not really helpful for us. Lag measures are kind of like the final outcome anyway. A lead measure is a measure that measures the behavior that leads to success in a lag measure. For example, as a student in high school, your lead measure would be the number of hours you are working for or the number of questions you practice. If you measure those, then you can evaluate how well you are doing at any particular season and whether you need to work harder or not. And that brings us to the third discipline and my favorite one. The third discipline is to keep a compelling scoreboard. That's what this paper was. This is the paper I used to keep score during my JEE preparation. My scoring system was that I got 3 points for every JEE main level PYQ or model question that I did, and 2 points for easier questions, a board level MCQ perhaps. Another scoring system you can try is to award yourself for the number of hours you work for. You could also increase the points for doing work that you don't feel like doing. For example, I didn't really like doing maths questions that much. So, say every other work session per hour I get 30 points, but for maths I get 40 points. Also, to make all of this more exciting, you could set daily goals and add some points to your daily score if you accomplish the goals. What I have found when I implemented this is that I just became way more ruthless. I wanted to work all day. I didn't want to even go out. I just wanted to work all day. For one, I was competing with myself. I wanted to beat my past score and I just wanted to see the score go up. That's the second thing. For no reason, even when I'm not competing with myself, just seeing my work in the form of numbers just excites me. I just want to see it go up. There's a quote in this book that people play differently when they're keeping score, and that's totally true. I am just way more competitive, and I'm not even competing with anyone. I just want to see the number on the paper go up, like for no reason, just obsession, pure obsession. And you would probably experience something similar. Like there's you just want to see the number go up, even if you can't beat the previous high score. It's just fun to see the number on the scoreboard increase. And this is the most effective thing that I've ever implemented to make my work more exciting. It's kind of a pain to do, I admit it, and I wasn't always consistent with it. There were seasons in my life when I was satisfied with the progress I was making and how motivated I was. So at that time, I didn't really keep a scoreboard. But whenever I felt like I needed more motivation and more excitement, I started keeping these, and they definitely work. So whenever you finish a work session, just update the score and you will automatically feel good. I don't know what aspect of human psychology this appeals to, but it works. The fourth and final discipline of execution is to create a cadence of accountability. No one likes to reflect on how they're doing. You can see this by the behavior of people to avoid looking at their screen time or their bank balance. It's just so funny. My friends literally turn off their phones from tracking their screen time. For what reason they couldn't just stop checking it for, I don't know. It's just weird. Like they really don't want to know how they're doing, especially when they're doing bad. But the practice that Cal Newport recommends and that I implemented, both are actually pretty pleasant and I like doing them. So what Cal Newport suggests is to do a weekly review. At the end of the week, go over your scoreboard and celebrate a good week if you had one, and if it was bad, then try to understand why it didn't go as well as you expected, and also try to understand what things you should repeat and what things you shouldn't repeat so as to ensure a good week ahead. I usually do this practice on Saturday night before sleeping. While doing this, I also check off the goals I had set for the week if I achieved them, and I set new goals for the next week. I also try to set my calendar during this time if I can predict my schedule in the future, and all of this helps me get into the next week with as much intention as possible. I am conscious of how I spend my time and how I want to spend my time. And I find that kind of satisfying when you live the way you want to live. It's not exciting or dopaminergic or exhilarating by any sense, but it just, I don't know, weirdly relaxing when you know what you need to do and you do it. And this practice of having a weekly review, understanding where you could do better and what you are doing right, and repeating that next week, and also setting intentions on how you want to live next week helps with that. So it makes life and work more enjoyable for me at least. So these were the four disciplines of execution, termed as the 4DX. It sounds very cool and it's just a very sophisticated name for four principles that make work more like a game. And I hope you found some value from these four principles and it can help you make your work more fun and exciting. If you did find this helpful, then please consider leaving a comment on how I could do better and what video you would like me to do next, or anything new. And with that, I'll see you at the top.